Hi guys, Kaiser here, and I'm coming at you today with some really exciting news because last night some information finally dropped about the next upcoming expansion pack for Age of Empires 2 called the Mountain Royals. So in this video, I'm going to get you caught up to speed really quickly on what we know and what we don't know about this upcoming expansion pack. We've got a host of screenshots here. Let's go ahead and dive right in. The first screenshot here was found on the Microsoft website. Some information was put on the website and then taken off. Looks like it might have been put on a little bit early, but the information is out there now. Expansion pack is called the Mountain Royals. It will cost $14.99 US dollars. So let's talk about what comes with that expansion pack. Here's the description. Prepare to embark on a legendary journey as we introduce the Mountain Royals DLC for AoE2 DE, blah, 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 blah. We're unlocking two remarkable civilizations. The Armenians and the Georgians are the civs coming with this expansion. And we've got three new campaigns. Tamar of Georgia, Thoros the Great of Armenia, and Ismail of Persia. And that's going to be a little bit of a side note. The Persians are a big part of this expansion pack. Although the Persian rework that they've been teasing for a long time, to my understanding, that's going to be free for anyone who owns AoE2. That transformation is happening regardless of whether you buy the DLC or not. And the DLC is just going to give you that campaign alongside the Georgian and Armenian civilizations. So, let's take a look at what we know about these civs. If we scroll down, we get a little description of the Armenians. Throw off the yoke of foreign domination for the sake of time, blah, 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 blah. You can pause if you'd like. The Armenian unique units are the composite bowman, a skilled archer capable of piercing even the sturdiest armor. Now, let's pause right there. I have no idea what that means. Could this be an archer version of the Lightus, where it ignores pierce armor? Or maybe it's an archer version of the Obuk, where it actually strips armor away with every shot. Maybe it's something else. I have no idea, but looks like it could be interesting. It's a very cool looking unit, as we'll see in a second. The Armenians also get the Warrior Priest, an infantry unit that can fight and heal allied units. Now remember that, because based on what the screenshots are telling me, the Warrior Priest is going to be an extremely versatile, unique unit. You'll notice we don't have the Georgians here, but thanks to IG Jurtson, and a hat tip to the AoE2 Reddit forum, and IG Jurtson in particular, who's really collated a lot of this stuff. Basically, without his work, this video wouldn't be happening, so I want to thank him. But he adds in a description from the Georgians as well. Carve out a sturdy kingdom in the shadows of the Caucasus Mountains and use the rugged terrain to your advantage as you repulse countless foreign invasions. The Georgians have a single unique unit, the Monaspa, a brawny cavalry unit. It says cavalry, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be cavalry. Unit whose strength increases in numbers. Now, if I'm understanding that right, that looks like the more of this unit you build, and they're together, they gain in attack strength with, more Monaspa around. That would be a unique mechanic in AoE2. I see that in AoE3 all the time, but in AoE2 we don't have a unit where this unit gains more stat if it's, around other units of the same type or different types or whatever. Closest thing would be with the most recent Centurion, kind of buffing the stats of nearby legionaries and Roman infantry. So maybe it works kind of like that, but this is very interesting from a mechanics point of view. Now, I wonder how this will work strategically, because already it seems like you mass up knights or, heavy cav and you send them out. So I'm really curious to see how that unique unit will play out, but those are the unique units. The Armenians get two. And notice, by the way, this will be relevant in a second, the Georgians don't have the Warrior Priest listed. And that's interesting in just a second. We'll see why. Let's dive into the screenshots here. Our first screenshot is an Armenian screenshot. I'm pretty sure this right here is the Armenian Wonder, which looks beautiful. I doubt it's the castle. It looks far too aesthetic and, it doesn't look as fortified to be the castle. But there are three things that I want to spotlight here. First, in the bottom right-hand corner, we see this donkey or this mule carrying a cart. You'll notice the cart has, it looks like some gold and some wood, some stone, the resources of AoE2 in the cart. And it is perched by the gold. Now, let's bookmark that. We'll come back to this unit in the next screenshot. But I don't think this is just, you know, campaign art, you know, campaign flavor like some of the other things. Like this lamp right here probably has nothing to do with the Armenians. That's probably just world builder stuff. But this cart, I think, is pretty relevant, and we'll see why in a second. Second thing I want to spotlight is this building right here, which looks an awful lot like a monastery with some extra fortification, some extra accoutrement. You'll notice it's even garrisoned with something. It looks like maybe a relic is inside, or again, a unit that is producing something. So it's a garrisonable structure of some kind. I am guessing that the Armenians get some kind of unique variant of the monastery. You know, how this will play out, we have no idea. One thing we don't have is information about the civilization's unique features. We're just able to guess, you know, from these screenshots, but it looks like they might get a unique monastery. And the third thing that we see, actually, I guess there are four things, because we see right here by the monastery, these guys clothed in fabric armor of some kind. They've got a sword slung over their shoulder, and the fact that they are perched right by this monastery building suggests that they may in fact be the warrior priests. And we're going to see in the next screenshot that that is very likely. But let's ignore them for right now. Looking at the fourth thing real quick before we move on, these guys have to be the composite bowmen. And they look really cool. They look heavily armored. They've got the capes. These guys look like the bow and arrow version of the Teutonic Knight. They look really, really cool. How do they play? I have no idea. No info on that quite yet, but I can tell you they look neat. All right. Next screenshot, which I think gives us even more information. And if we split this picture in half, let's look at the top part first. We see, once again, the mule with the cart. And notice how this mule is perched right by these resources. We got wood to the right and gold to the left. And these villagers are conspicuously working around the cart. In fact, this guy looks like he might be dropping off the wood, which suggests to me that this is actually a feature of the Armenian civilization. And this unit may be a mobile drop-off point. This is a unit that you might be able to send to a location, and villagers will just work and be able to drop off the resources at the cart. If you're familiar with the Rome at War Total Conversion mod, the Germani have been given access to a unit that works just like this, and it is a really cool unit to play with. So I'm guessing that's what this unit is, and it's really exciting to see it brought into AoE2 with the Armenians. I assume the Armenians. By the way, so splitting the picture in half, this top part I think is giving us more info about the Armenians. Again, we see this monastery building here, which the fact that this building shows up twice suggests to me that this is not a, again, a world builder piece of fluff. I think this is actually part of the civilization. And notice again, we've got monks, we've got the warrior priest guy again, and right here is a dude, I'm assuming this guy, the warrior priest, carrying a relic. So that tells me the warrior priest, it can fight like an infantry unit, it can heal like a monk, and it can actually pick up relics, which is amazing. It means that this will be a very versatile, unique unit. I've actually long wanted the Berserker to be able to do this. I think it'd be awesome for the Viking player to be able to raid monasteries and then collect the relics and bring them back. Thematically, it would fit, right? But it's really cool to see this feature brought on with the warrior priest. This is a really cool unit. I imagine very versatile and will be a great unit to mix into your armies. You probably don't want to build a full warrior priest army, I'm guessing, but mixing this unit in with whatever you've got will be really cool. They're going to be much more resilient against scout cav, I'm guessing, than your typical monks are. All right. And I think that's pretty much it for that top part. Now, what's strange about this screenshot, if I'm reading this right, you know, picture number one, this is Armenia. We got the composite bowman right here. And then these features, again, belong to that civ. But the bottom half, even though it's the same color, I think this is Georgia. We've got here this castle in the middle, and it has the unique Georgian flag, right? And we scroll down a little bit. It's a beautiful castle, by the way. And this looks like a castle, not a wonder. And if we scroll down, we see these unique cavalry units, which are undoubtedly the Monaspa, right? They've got the Georgian sigil on the shield, heavily armored. Again, they look really cool. We see that the Monaspa is here. We've got the knights as well. It does make me wonder, you know, how will this civ use Monaspa versus Knights? How are they different? How are they unique? I don't know. Be very interesting to find out. Going on to the next screenshot, which I think focuses on Georgia. Oh, by the way, before I click that screenshot, notice these tall structures right here, these tall towers. And when we click over to the next screenshot, we will see more of these tall towers. Some people are arguing that this might be a feature of the Georgians, that they have some sort of unique defensive structure, and that would make sense for a Georgian civilization, the kind of a defensive focus, tower focus. However, I am inclined to believe that this is actually just world builder fluff, and the reason for that is these tall structures have no team color at all. In AoE2, any building that's built by a player has red or whatever color you pick in the game, outlining and accenting the structure. That's not here on these tall towers. I'm guessing that that's just fluff. In this screenshot, we see the center building here, which I'm guessing is the Georgian Wonder. Looks very cool. I can't zoom in, unfortunately, but we have a couple of hero units, more Monaspa, which look very cool. I don't think there's anything else that particularly stands out. Again, we have another screenshot of the Georgian castle, right? So I'm guessing this is all Georgia, this is all Armenia, and then this screenshot looks like it's half and half. Even though it's the same color, I think that they might be, there's some shenanigans here where they're sort of mixing and matching different elements of the civs. Either that, or both civilizations get a unique monastery, they both get the warrior. I just don't think so. I don't think that's what's going on here. But we'll have to see. Now, that's the Georgians and the Armenians. We also have to talk about the Persians. And if we've got two screenshots to look at when it comes to the Persians. They're being sieged here in this screenshot by the Armenians. We see the composite bowmen at work. Nothing that I see that's particularly that stands out. So just archers doing their job, right? First thing that I want to notice about the Persians, notice how they have the unique bazaar. And I'm forgetting off the top of my head what that building is actually called. I know it's not called the bazaar. The Hindustanis have that unique structure. I know a lot of people have said, hey, you ought to give that building to the Persians because, yeah, the bazaars showed up a lot in Hindustan, but they were really made by the Persians. So if anything, the Persians should have it. So the fact that this building shows up multiple times, you got one right here, that suggests that this might actually be a building that belongs to the Persians now, that's been incorporated in. I also want to notice the focus from the Persians on cavalry. We got cav archers up here. And if we zoom in on the castle here, we have a couple of very interesting units. This guy right here is almost certainly a steppe lancer. But if I'm not mistaken, this is a unique design and a unique look to the steppe lancer. So that tells us, one, the Persians are getting steppe lancer, and two, these steppe lancers are at the very least aesthetically different. They are given a Persian touch-up. Now, that might just be a touch-up, or it might suggest that there's something unique about Persian steppe lancers. So we'll have to keep an eye on their stables, not just because of these guys, but also look at these guys right here. These are some very interesting units. They're heavily armored. They've got the spear. It looks like the horse is garbed in heavy leather armor. The rider has heavy chainmail on. And that's a very unique looking unit. Could this be a unique unit? Or maybe this is a variant of the knight, the cavalier, the paladin perhaps. Right? There's something going on with Persian cavalry. And it gets even more interesting when we look at the next picture. Now, before I jump over there, this guy's probably just a king unit or something like that. I see several minarets, but I'm guessing that's just, world builder stuff. Looks like the Persians do get some unique architecture changes, which are pretty cool. But, yeah, very exciting. Noting, by the way, too, the other thing about the bazaar, I forgot if I mentioned this, but this is a unique look. I think the Hindustani version does not look like this. So that's one more reason to suggest that this is actually something the Persians get as part of their civilization now. And let's flip over to our final screenshot. We've got another siege. This time the Georgians are fighting the Persians here. So in the red, we see the Georgians and the Monaspa moving in with the battering rams. Right? In the orange, we have the Persians. And notice a third unique looking cavalry unit. This guy looks like a leveled up version of what we saw here. You know, here the horse was just, heavy leather armor. This time, though, the horse is clad in what looks like some kind of laminar armor. The knights, the riders have these heavy copper bronze colored shields. It looks like an upgrade. So I'm going to go out on a limb and think that what we might be looking at are Persians getting a unique variant of the knight and the cavalier. And that's what we're seeing here. We saw the knight in the previous picture, and here we see the cavalier units. And as we scroll through, we see this unit. Here are several more right here. Here are several more here. That these guys are going to be prominently featured part of the civilization. I'm guessing that this is a version of the cavalier or the paladin that the Persians get. It could be the Persians' new unique unit. And that raises another question. What we're not seeing in these screenshots are war elephants. And it makes me wonder, are they just not showing off, they don't want to show off old things? I mean, we see camels. They're obviously an important part of the Persian cav civilization here. So it could be that. But maybe war elephants are no longer a part of the picture. I'm not sure. It does raise an interesting question of how far the Forgotten Empire devs are willing to go to transform one of the original 13 civilizations. I mean, the Persians have been in the game from the very beginning. I know there are some people who aren't a fan of big changes like that. Speaking as someone who's played the game since Age of Conquerors came out, I've been playing AoE2 for a long time. Personally, I am a really big fan of these sorts of changes. I love seeing the civilizations getting touch-ups and changes, and I'd love to see even more. But that's just me. I'm sure that they're testing the waters to see what you guys think. So, guys, I think that pretty much covers it. Let me know, what do you think below? Are you excited for the Armenians and the Georgians? Personally, they were at the top of my wish list. If we're adding more civs to the game, I wanted the Georgians and the Armenians. So I'm really excited to see them. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for those civs? What do you think about the Persians? Do they look exciting? Or do they, are you maybe more hesitant? Are you worried about how they're going to change one of the OG civs? Right? Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you want to see more about the Mountain Royals DLC, if you want to stay up to date on the news there, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you that does that. For now, this is the Iron Kaiser, signing off. Have a great one.